Okay, guys, I'm going to talk through yesterday's FRQ a little bit. Obviously, you had the answers included, but we're going to use this as a little bit of a teaching idea here, too. Now, what I do in green is what you should do to answer this question as an FRQ, and then I'm going to probably do some other stuff in red that's just kind of using this as a teaching opportunity. So, we're going to start by reading the prompt. Assume the United States economy is currently in equilibrium at the full employment level of real GDP. So that means we are at long-run equilibrium, which means we need our price level here and our real GDP here, vertical LRAS, downsloping AD, and upsloping SRAS. Okay, so we're going to label this YF for full employment. This will be PLF, that's the price level at full employment. So that takes care of A. A is good. All right, now we're going to skip B. I think that was about currency, which you guys haven't learned yet. So now we're going to look at C. So assume the Federal Reserve takes action to curb the effects of a Japanese recession on the United States economy. So when we are talking about a Japanese recession, the first thing that we have to understand is that Japan is our trading partner, okay? So this Japanese recession is going to hit net exports. And we know that net exports is one of the components of GDP. Basically, it's going to look something like this. Aggregate demand is going to shift left because we're not going to sell very much to Japan. Okay? So for all intents and purposes, what the Fed is trying to do is stave off this negative economic impact. So we're going to go back to green. And what open market operations would the Fed undertake? So the expansionary monetary policy here is to buy bonds. We know that buying bonds is expansionary. Using a correctly labeled graph of the money market, show how the Federal Reserve action would affect the nominal interest rate. So a correctly labeled graph of the money market has interest rate here, quantity of money here. We know that the supply of money is vertical. It's vertical where the Fed sets it, and then the demand for money is downsloping. Remember that the demand for money is asset demand plus transactional demand. Okay, so that those two together form the demand for money. Now, that's going to give us our nominal interest rate there. And when the Fed buys bonds, that's going to put more cash out in the system, which means the supply of money is going to rise and the nominal interest rate will fall. Okay? Now, when nominal interest rate falls, and we're running out of room here, when nominal interest rate falls, we know that aggregate demand and the price level and real output in the United States. So AD is going to rise primarily because of IG. Okay, and then there will be some consumer demand will rise because some people will buy cars. But remember that most of consumer demand is not interest rate sensitive. Okay, so additionally, the price level is going to put upward pressure on the price level. All right, so PL will rise, and output will rise. Okay, so basically that's what we see. We are just, when we do these things, when we buy bonds and increase the money supply by decreasing interest rates, we're going to see a push back on that aggregate demand curve, which means that we're going to go from this lower output and this, depending on sticky prices, we're going to see the price level rise as well. All right, so back to green. Okay, define real interest rate. So real interest rate is the nominal IR adjusted for inflation. Easy enough. You could define interest rate as the price of money if you want to, but you don't actually have to. Okay, now last, part E, indicate the effect of the open market operations on the real interest rate in the United States. So for part E, real IR will fall. That's because the nominal interest rate falls, and they move in the same direction. So that's about it. I hope you guys understand. If you've got questions, feel free to reach out. Take care, guys.